Afternoon, folks. Brian here, Geomagnetic Earth Watch on Friday, May 5, 2023 on our planet. I hope you're all well. So, losing more subscribers. I'm so sad. Sorry to see you go. I guess I hurt some feelings and offended some people. Too bad. Anyway, before I get on with this, I stand what I said before about my previous video, which I had to delete because obviously some people got upset. Wow. So people, there were not tens of thousands of fires in the Yucatan Peninsula. Exaggerated bullshit for viewerships. Nor are there fires in the waters of the Yucatan Peninsula. Anybody who studies our planet, I don't care who you are, if you study earthquakes, whatever, you know full well that that's oil and gas platforms off the coast of the Yucatan Peninsula. And every single day, 365 days a year, for many years, they flare off to relieve the pressure, and therefore the satellites pick up those heat signatures. Okay. You're a fool if you believe that. To continue. Don't bullshit and lie, people, all right? Anyway, thank you for sending me notifications about the wildfires in my country, Canada, Western Canada, specifically Alberta, and now Saskatchewan. I'm going to go over a few points. First, people, most of these fires are not along the Craton edge, and I will say no more. Second, before I do a posting on something, I can spend hours, sometimes I'll spend days gathering all the information. Now, I've seen this pattern before. It's a repeating pattern, and let's go through a few things, shall we? 2, subsequent fires are not from blowing embers. They are starting up behind those locations, not with the winds. 3, over the years, I see the same pattern. Things start from the northwest and they flow down to the southeast. Therefore, I would suggest you pay attention to Banff, southern Alberta, Lethbridge area, flowing down into Montana, then northern Dakota, southern Dakota, and southern Manitoba, including the Interlake region. About 3 years ago, I saw a pattern of heat detections in southern Manitoba, including the Interlake regions. In the middle of the wintertime, folks, the place was completely frozen over still. Yet the satellites picked up a whole bunch of heat anomalies. Shortly thereafter, right after all that ice and snow melted, wildfires, a lot of them. I suggest you pay attention to the area around Brampton and the Interlake regions. And again, as well, the Dakotas. 4, as far as I can see from the satellite weather radar, there's been no lightning strikes in these areas. I welcome any corrections, anybody who's up there. Stephen, Dano, I understand Edson's being evacuated. Let me know. My butt won't get hurt if I'm wrong, okay? I got no problem admitting I'm wrong. I just haven't seen any lightning strikes on the radar. 5, a lot of these fires are around the fracking locations. Just a statement of observation. I'm not going to suggest anything further. 6. Western central Saskatchewan, Lake Kazan. On the edge of the lake, there's a fire. 56 meters offshore in the waters. There's also a heat detection. There's no oil and gas platforms out there, folks, so it's not that. Observation. 7. Now, this is something unknown for quite a few years now. In Canada and Northern Canada, we have increased levels of ultraviolet C radiation coming in. Now, if you're a liberal, I'm going to hurt your feelings. When our leader says Canada is twice as harder than the rest of the world, and Northern Canada, what did that idiot say? 3 times, 10 times harder? In a sense, he's correct. He's right, people. But like the United Nations, he has used the man-made global warming CO2 emissions excuse. So in fact, the magnetic field lines over Canada, Northern Canada, are weak. Very weak. Excuse me. And as a result, we have increased cosmic rays coming in. Now, when the cosmic rays enter our atmosphere and interact with the atmospheric atoms, changes take place. Secondary particles are created called muons. Now this also breaks down the ozone, which allows increased levels of ultraviolet radiation coming in. Over recent summers, it was the increased UVC that's been burning our crops. It's not the heat, it's the increased ultraviolet radiation coming in, which also sucks the moisture out of all the soils and vegetations, thereby droughts and wildfires. Therefore, prepare yourselves for climate lockdowns, and this will be the excuse. So we have major wildfires starting up, perhaps a month earlier than usual. Yeah, we have major wildfires, but they're starting up earlier and earlier because of our worsening drought situation, our erratic jet streams, accelerated winds, breakdown of the ozone, increased UVC coming in. Has anybody stated the ignition source of these fires? Stories are always the same. Oh yes, we're in drought and they're accelerated by winds. Okay, so again, over the years, the pattern I see is when I look at heat coming up, it starts in northwest British Columbia, the Stikine volcanic belt, flows down British Columbia, comes alongside Banff, goes down to southern Alberta, goes into Montana, and the Dakotas. Same pattern every year. So let's see what happens. Lethbridge, Montana, Dakotas, Manitoba. That's it for now, folks. Later on, when I have time, I'll show you the actual imagery of all these fires and the heat anomalies coming up. Till then, later.